Wait a little bit.
Yeah, it keeps on picking up our sound now, and then we sound like idiots. Survivor specialists Phil and Robert are back.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll give it to you again. Alexa enjoying the World Series.
there we go.
Enjoying that World Series as the Astros just get smoked over and over again. But she's out doing that, so she'll be back for real next week. It's probably going to be Robert this weekend, but if you're a Robert fan, get your last look at him. This might be the last time you ever see him.
It might be the last time I see myself too. That's going to be a while for the podcast.
I know. This is it. I just got to say, like, I love Survivor. There's some huge things, like huge moments in Survivor history. We always get to see like different interesting parts of the world.
Mhm.
We've seen, all these different islands. We've been to Africa. We've been on safaris. People have gone into hot air balloons. People have gone to the Great Barrier Reef. They've done all this stuff. But tonight, the Survivors got a once-in-a-lifetime reward.
Once in a lifetime. Have you ever been to Applebee's before, Phil? I don't know. That's incredible.
I've essentially lived at Applebee's. And so tonight, we got to watch the Survivors go to Applebee's, fake Applebee's, Fiji Applebee's. And they had this once-in-a-lifetime experience that you just can't experience anywhere else. And it was really incredible. I'm really glad we got to watch them experience this for the first time. I just hope that, like, my children one day are able to experience Applebee's as happily as Tommy Sheehan.
That was literally, like, the funniest bit I've ever seen, like, on this show. Like, how long has it been since they've had one of these sponsored segments? I mean, someone would have to do a fact check, but it's been a while. And so the fact that Jeff is like, it's sponsored by Applebee's, I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. And like, you knew that they were being told to be like, hey, just say that you love Applebee's. Like, it's okay. Like, just go for it. Like, trust us.
I mean, you have Karishma over here saying it's her favorite sit-down restaurant. I'm like, would somebody take Karishma out to eat? Karishma, get out there. Anywhere. I mean, I do love myself some Applebee's. They got great half-price appetizers. I'm not reading this off of anything. I don't know why I'm looking at my paper here, but I don't need to read this because it's just so legit. Their boneless wings are great. They will dehydrate you for about a month and a half. Their mozzarella sticks, fantastic, and it's all really cheap. There's one down by the school I go to right now for my MFA. And last year I would work till 4:00 down in Orange. And then you would have to drive either 3 hours home, or I could go sit in an Applebee's and watch Monday Night Football. So I would always elect to go sit in an Applebee's alone and watch Monday Night Football. That was how I spent my Monday evenings. If anybody finds that sad, that's your problem, because I'll tell you what, anybody who just won this reward would have joined me. Okay, they would have definitely joined me. And I'm sure they've all done this before and since getting back from the beautiful island of Fiji.
But there's no Applebee's in Fiji. There's no Applebee's on the beaches of Fiji with margaritas provided to you, so you can look out across the ocean. Like, it is once in a lifetime, Phil.
It is once in a lifetime.
You got to watch Monday Night Football every Monday night for 4 years, or however long it was.
No, it was literally just last year. But we'd always go to half price appetizers. The one in Lacey, New Jersey, that was the big one. So now I can make it a historical landmark because it is as iconic as I always thought it was growing up. I mean, if the family said we're going to Applebee's, you knew it was a big night. And tonight it was proven even further. Like, they all went to Applebee's. I think Jason Linden probably hated that Shark Bowl more than anybody in the history of time has ever hated an alcoholic beverage, but he sucked it up. I saw him do it, but his was like pushed further away. And I'm pretty sure that somebody came over to him and said, you have to drink that, or at least we need a shot of you drinking from that container, even if it's not the alcoholic version, because those things, I cannot imagine being super dehydrated, starving on an island, not sleeping. And they're like, here's sugar. Why don't you shove this in your throat?
Yeah. This probably like super, maybe not. They probably like toned the margaritas down a little bit, but imagine like the hangover you get. It's probably like a, killer headache the next, even that afternoon or something.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, everybody started drinking beer. Beer is manageable. There's a reason Bud Light is the greatest alcoholic beverage of all time. And it's because when you drink it, it hydrates you while it's getting you drunk. Yeah. And it's just the best. It's absolutely wonderful. And that's what Carl's going to be getting his 30-pack of because the Astros beat the Yankees, but the Astros haven't looked good since. So maybe he should just give everybody a 30-pack for making us watch a World Series like this. But that's neither here nor there. Intern, we had what some are considering a blindside tonight, But I'm calling BS, and I think Tom knew he was going home. And for as much as I've complimented the editors so far this season, tonight's actually frustrated me a little bit because I felt like we were purposely left in the dark just for kind of shock value. And I didn't really like that. What did you think about this?
I thought it was really weird. I feel like what they usually do is they say like, here's like half the people's reasons for this and half the people's reasons for this person, or they'll do like the entire group is deciding like which person should we do. But this time it would be like one person. I don't remember exactly the people that would do it, but like, here's the reason that we should get rid of Tom, and here's the reason, and like, here's the reason we should get rid of Missy, or not Missy. Sorry, what am I saying? Karishma. That's two names I never thought I'd get mixed up.
Yeah,
and
way
then,
to go.
And then like Kelly was talking with Dean, and Kelly was like, "Oh, I like Dean. He's fun to be around. Wait, I should get him out." And it was just like individual opinions on like the three new Orange Tribe members.
Lyro, yeah, Lyro.
I mean,
Missy said it a million times as she was feasting on her Applebee's. Lyro, L's, we're done with Orange. I hate Lyro. This tastes like a W. I mean, Missy was going all in. Missy is a villain, and I like it though. I dig it, but she's a big time villain. But I'm loving it.
It was so good. I love me a good villain.
Yeah, and hers is an interesting villain though, because hers feels like a villain who can still win the game, whereas a lot of times we see these over the top villains. You know, Russell obviously is the main one who comes to mind, but we see this over and over again. Angelina was kind of like that on her season, where it felt over the top and you never thought she was going to win. But I'm still not sold that Missy can't win, especially with the way these tribes just swapped out. New Vokai, man, they are not losing. They are not losing at all.
I saw that swap, and I'm like, the only person here that like could improve their tribe is like Jack, but everyone else that like is not good on challenges is on the new Lyro.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw this in here, and I'm gonna say, okay, so we have the new Vokai, Dan, Tommy, Jason, Lauren, Elaine, Elizabeth, Aaron, Missy. New Lyro, Jamal, Nora, Kelly, Jack, Janet, Dean, Karishma, and the recently booted Tom Laidlaw. They're not even at all. And what is interesting about this as well is, even just from an editing perspective, this new tribe, this new Vokai tribe, it's what I said last week. The only two people from Lyro who can win are Missy and Aaron. They're both on that tribe. Elaine, we've gotten good at it from. She's on that tribe. Elizabeth, we've gotten a good edit from. She's on that tribe. Dan, Tommy, Jason, and Lauren, we know a pretty good amount about. The other tribe has your people who it's like, oh, they could be expendable to the storyline of the season. Yeah. Karishma's been huge on the season, but, Nora. It's very interesting how this shaped up, and I think Vokai is going to win until there's a swap, which is also part of the reason why I think that that Lyro voted out Tom tonight, which I know a lot of people were saying was stupid, and I think it was stupid the first time I watched it, but I watched this episode twice, and I no longer think it was dumb, but I'm going to let Intern go first so that I can just say that everything he's saying is wrong afterwards.
Well, you came into this saying you had a formulated point as to why Tom going home wasn't that bad, and I just I think that you just have to keep the tribe strong. And I mean, we are playing like the world of Upside Down Survivor, where you vote out the social threats immediately and the physical threats when you need them. But like, I don't know. Like, Karishma like was the weak point in both challenges today, and so like if you want to not lose challenges again, so that you don't have to go to tribal council and not have to vote someone else out, like, why not just get rid of Karishma? I mean, obviously, if she has a good enough social game to keep herself there, I mean, maybe it's like the classic, like, she's so big of a target that they keep her around. But like, can you keep her around for like, what is it, final, like, we're at 15 left? Can you keep her around for 12 more votes?
I know,
like, that's so much.
Well, and it was very funny because Tom said to Janet, we got rid of Chelsea because we figured we get rid of Karishma at any time, and then they get rid of Tom because they can get rid of Karishma at any time. However, here's why I think this is a good move, and everybody just kind of stick with me here, because I do think that it ends up being a good move here for this tribe, even though I had the same gut reaction as everybody else when this happened. Like, Tom should not have gone home, but here's why I think it is good. You have 5 Vokai on that tribe and 3 Lyro. The other side is 4 and 4. So they look at that other side and say, damn, we don't know what's going to happen, but we know that, Janet over here is saying, okay, Tommy's over there and I got along really well with Tommy. And Kelly's over here saying, like, I got along really well with Lauren. and Jason has Nora, and or Nora has Jason, if we're doing it the reverse. There's a lot of connections on the other tribe. And so you don't want any of your Vokai people to go home before you can get to emerge and somehow work with them again. So by getting rid of Tom tonight, what you do is you make it so you never have to throw a challenge. You can just keep losing the challenges. but listen, no, but this makes sense because look, you get rid of Tom tonight, you get rid of Dean next week. You still have Karishma. If you go into a merge, Karishma is going to be indebted to you. She's already shown that she's not going to win any challenges. So you try to keep her around as long as you can. But if you lose again, you get rid of Karishma. Okay, great. But now what happens? It's 5 versus 8. Maybe there isn't a merge at 13. Maybe the merge is at 12. Cool. You lose, you vote out Nora. And so these four, this Jamal, Kelly, Jack, Janet, they are safe until the merge, even if they lose every single immunity challenge until the merge hits. And I think that that's a really interesting thing, because by getting rid of Tom, you're kind of saying to your tribe on the other side, look, we're getting rid of their stronger members. We're willing to kind of lose here just to make sure that by the time we hit the merge, it could just be 8-4 and we can just wipe off Elaine, Aaron, and Elizabeth and Missy and just get rid of them. I mean, Lyro's in such a bad position here, and I actually think that what new Lyro did tonight might have been a really smart strategic move.
So I get that point, but I think it is still very risky. Like, yes, you go into the swap like, oh, I spent 12 days with these people and I trust them a lot, and I know that, like, you know, we have that connection. But what if new Vokai goes and makes their own connection, and then they become 8 strong, and then you go into the merge at 13, and you have, like, you end up, so let's say you do vote out Tom, Karishma, Dean, and then it's like the 5 Lyro people up against the 8 now strong Vokai people, and now you're down 8-5. Like, is that a good idea? I feel like at some point you still have to do like some sort of self-preservation and not put the power of, oh, I trust these people, that is my end goal. And you at some point need to take it for yourself and be like, I need to like have my own agency in this game, and I want to have as many allies, the ones on my side and the ones on the other tribe.
Something else, though, we've seen in recent seasons, especially, is the tribes that lose actually end up staying together tight, because like you're Janet, and maybe you don't have a good relationship with Jamal. You don't really know Jack. But if you keep losing together and you keep voting the same way, you start to build this trust and this confidence. And look at somebody like Chris Noble back in Ghost Island, who never lost and never goes to tribal, and then goes to his first tribal and gets voted out because he wasn't able to build trust with anybody. I think that you build trust by doing this as well. And I think that the relationships that a lot of the people, this was kind of split where the Lyro people who were close stayed together. Whereas on the flip side, the Vokai people who were split, it kind of like split them in half. I mean, like I said, Janet, Tommy, Jason, and Nora, at least something that we were told. Maybe, I don't really know who Dan was getting along with, Dan and Kelly. Is that okay to say? But you know what I mean? Like there's this split here, and I actually think that this might have ended up being a good move. I really do. And it pains me to say that, because I don't think Tom deserved to go home. Karishma was clearly the bigger liability in these challenges, but Karishma's doing something right. I mean, her social game must be really good, or they're playing looking way too far ahead, but she's doing something right. And even tonight at Tribal, she said it like, maybe I've already just been tossed out. Nobody's throwing my name out there because all they're worried about is Tom or Dean.
I mean, even if she's the one that convinces people to like look further ahead than they need to about bringing Karishma to the end, like, that's a good move. That'll get you to the end. Or, I mean, it'll get you further. I think going back to your original point, like about Lyro losing, if you look at just number of allies, and I think that, like, I mean, you see situations where some people have 0 allies and they just get voted out, or, I mean, you know, they find 3 idols and then win season 35. But
yes,
you know, ignoring that case, I mean, we're still like, you know, entering the merge and not nearing endgame. Like, if I feel like you want as many allies and as many relationships as possible, and if people on Lyro are banking on the strength of their relationships with old Vokai, then they only have relationships with old Vokai. And even if old Vokai that is now on like new Vokai, even if they aren't committed, sorry,
you're about to pass out. There's no doubt.
Yeah, there's a lot of Lyro Vokai, which both words sound the same in my head because of like the AI.
Lokai.
Yeah, Lokai, whatever. But new Vokai, like the people that were on old Vokai and the new Vokai, like they have relationships with all the people on their tribe going into the merge and all the people on their old tribe. And the fact that like they would have like an individual, like someone like Jason would have all 4 new members of New Vokai and all the old members of his old tribe, like that's a lot of relationships that you can, you know, make do. And so I think like that's, I still don't totally buy that like, you know, throwing 3 challenges in a row is a good idea, but like
but they're not throwing them. They could still accidentally win. But I think they're sending a statement to their old tribe.
There's throwing, and then there's like throwing. You know, looks like walks like a duck, talks like a duck. You know, still a throw.
Is it a duck?
I guess so.
I guess it's a duck, but Kelly is doing a good job. I mean, Kelly's
doing a good job.
She was shown working magic with Dean there. She doesn't want to be the next Chelsea, which I'm sure Chelsea loved watching this episode tonight. I'm sure that was just wonderful, a wonderful experience for her, having to sit there and watch Kelly say, I don't want to be the next Chelsea. And then Dean just reaffirm what I don't think was true, which is Chelsea got voted out because of a showmance, and just kind of rubbing that into her face here, which I'm sure is just a wonderful feeling as a lifelong Survivor fan who gets voted out because of a showmance, air quotes. But Kelly was doing a really good job working in with Dean. We didn't really see what Jamal was doing, but I don't think Jamal had to do much because his closest ally is Jack, and him and Jack are on the same tribe. We saw Janet making moves with Tom. I mean, it made sense. They're the older people. They're going to start talking to each other. But I just think that at the end of the day, as bad of a move as this was initially viewed as, I'm kind of defending it now because I don't think that it's completely terrible. And I think that there's so much game left to be played. And I mean, if you get rid of Tom, and Tom's not a threat to win this game ever, but by getting rid of Tom, you're getting rid of probably the biggest threat on your tribe from the original Lyra, because everybody's got to be looking at Dean saying, well, Dean is, you know, is he really going to win the game? And then you look at the other side, and the way that Tom and Lyra and Dean were probably talking it up is everybody else is the strategist. Everybody on the other side is the strategist, which is kind of the truth. So you did kind of get rid of the biggest threat from original Lyra tonight.
And I think going back to what Janet said is that like, you know, Tom's old school, he's very straight shooting, but he also strong ties and he's not willing to break those. And so I do get the argument that like if anyone would want to stick with original tribal lines, it would be Tom. And if you are trying to think like, you know, you want to maximize your own, like the number of strong relationships you have, that also goes hand in hand with minimizing the number of strong relationships that your opponent has or other everyone around you has. And so if you can eliminate Tom, which is someone who is, you know, when push comes to shove is not going to work with you, you know, that could also be a good argument.
I just think, Tom's game, and I said this way earlier on, he plays a transparent game. It's a game that's easy to understand because it's so straightforward. It follows such a clear linear path of I am loyal. That is what I do. I will stick with you. You never have to worry about Tom being the person who's going to turn around and blindside you. Because again, like I know the beginning we had the invention of the great character Detective Dean, who is going to be up there with Sherlock Holmes one day. And we get to see him going around trying to figure out who was the one who put the hit out. I love how he's Detective Dean trying to figure out who put out a hit. But anyway, that's, you know, again, neither here nor there, but he's trying to figure out who put the hit out. And really everybody was playing it dumb except Missy, who is the one who put the hit out.
Yeah. And it was good of Dean to be able to like sniff that out and be like, yeah, I think Missy's the one lying to me. And he just calls it out. And I thought like, that's really good perception, being able to like put the pieces together of what everyone's saying and realize that like, all right, this is the person who blindsided me. This is the person I need to watch out for.
Yeah, and Dean, you know, we didn't hear from him the first 2 episodes. He's gotten kind of a crap edit since then. Tonight he was cool. I like Dean. Dean is kind of fun to watch. There's something about him that just makes me want to root for him to somehow find a way out of this mess. And I don't really know what it is, but it's just kind of, he's just got this like, it's like sincerity in his like own flaws that I don't think we see a lot of the time, and him like kind of going around and realizing like, man, I was just wrong and I'm just
like
an idiot.
He is very self-aware, right? He's like when he did like we got to split the vote when everyone was around, he was like, oh yeah, that was really dumb. And then like he referenced it in his own confessional and was like, yeah, that's fun. People that recognize their own flaws, like, you know, those are fun people to be around.
Yeah, and another one of his flaws is that he plays for Columbia, which I guess this is why Columbia never really makes it to the NCAA tournament, because he doesn't end up beating. Thank you for that, Cooper Winkler. I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that nicely. But he doesn't end up beating Tommy in this challenge. And something about Tommy that I noticed tonight, as well as every other night, is not only does he look like me, he also shoots basketballs like me. So that's something that I really like, because me and him were very similar in our basketball shooting ability. And that,
I mean, I thought Tommy was like a whole foot taller than you, though.
He's a whole foot taller, but that doesn't matter. I mean, because like Dean, like I said, Dean plays D1. I don't think Tommy played D1, and Dean is what, like 5'10", at most. So I like what I'm seeing here from Tommy. Not only is he look like me and can he get a mean sunburn,
I think
you're shoot a basket.
You're an optimistic 5'10", I would say.
I never said I was 5'10". I said that Dean was 5'10".
Yeah, but you were saying that you were Tommy.
No, well, Tommy's like 6'3". I'm not going to be Tommy. I'm not going to be Tommy. But I do think that like tonight's challenge, it's both challenges. The first one, I always love watching that. This one was even more brutal than the first time.
I love the snake challenge so much. Like, it just looks so awful. Like I don't know what I love about it.
Well, them pairing them up too this time, and like the one hand is just awkwardly tied behind your back makes it really, really painful. And then this last challenge, it really didn't matter how long it took you to get across the beam here, because everything was just shooting. It all came down to the shooting. And when you're on those buoys in the water, anything can happen. I mean, there's one swell that comes when you shoot that doesn't come when the other person shoots, and theirs goes in and yours doesn't.
And those hoops seem so far away. I feel like
that
they're
last
usually
one was
like
really
closer.
far.
They usually do like a tube thing where you have to shoot in the same one, but this one was like, the first one was easy and the last one seemed like so difficult.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just because they had a college basketball player and a redhead, and they knew that the redhead be able to drain him and the college basketball be able to drain him. So maybe that's what it is. But I mean, I liked both of these challenges. I liked that when Jeff yelled Karishma taking forever or something, or moving really slow.
She said, "No, I'm not.
No, I'm not." I loved it.
Like, yes, you are.
Yeah, I mean, but I get it. I mean, you kind of have to defend yourself, because if people are listening to that, you need to kind of try to draw the attention off of you. I mean, I don't mind when Jeff does this and calls things out, especially when it is that bad. But if you're being singled out over and over and over and over again, you have to defend yourself. Otherwise, it's too easy to vote you out.
Right. So I may be being like completely dumb, but do they usually like do a swap and then immediately do a challenge? I feel like they like just swap and then go
normally
back
to
camp.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool that they were like swapping. It's like, all right, go crawl in the sand, have fun.
And this time too, they made a like concerted effort to not go to Island of the Idols. I think that's like what they decided.
Which I also really appreciated that they.
Wait, really?
Like, yeah, I thought.
I couldn't follow the episode because Rob and Sandra weren't there to tell me what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, what are we gonna do without Vince running through, someone else's camp at night?
I know. I couldn't. This was a tough one for me. This whole no Island of the Idols. I mean, that's the name of the episode. That's the name of the season. I need to see this every week. I need at least 15 minutes.
And then Boston, Rob, and Sandra showed up at the end anyways. I'm like, I thought this was their day off.
What I did like though is I'm sitting there and I'm watching. I'm like, man, we're getting a lot of confessionals from everybody. We're getting a lot of content from everybody. What is going on tonight? Like, we're getting so much. It's just that we didn't go there.
Right. Yeah. And then we get to the end of the immunity challenge and Jeff's like, oh, no Island of the Idols. And I was like, oh, that's why this episode feels different.
It feels like a real episode of Survivor. It was moving quick. It was moving fast. It was nice to watch. That's what happens, So I liked that. I thought that was a good touch too. Another one that I thought was really, really fun was, we haven't really talked too much about new Vokai but I think this is where our winner is coming from. And I think this is the tribe that we really do need to talk about, with Dan, Tommy, Jason, Lauren, Elaine, Elizabeth, Aaron, and Missy. I would say Dan and Elaine are really the only two there that I don't see winning. And I know people are going to be like, but Elaine, not seeing it. But I think your winner is coming from this tribe, just based on what we've seen from all of them so far. What do you think about the dynamic? And if this tribe were to somehow lose, who do you think goes? And what did you think about all the content we saw here?
Oh God, I don't know who would lose, or I don't know who would get voted out, because I don't know how they lose. It just maybe Jason. I mean, we didn't really see much of the tribe dynamic other than like them wrestling, right? Maybe Aaron gets voted out. Like, I don't know. Actually, no, because it can't. Going off of like the rest of this season, like people aren't getting voted out because they're the easy vote out. So it's going to be someone weird like, I don't know. Probably
Tommy goes next week.
Tommy, yeah. Reddit collectively cries again after, 2 of their favorites go home.
Yeah, and when I'm looking at this with Tommy and Aaron, I don't see Aaron going home now, and I'm really happy that I said last week I think Aaron can win the game because I think Aaron's in a really good spot. Him and Tommy are going to kind of try to protect each other, which I think was Alexa and I when we were on with Fair Play. We had said, there's no like group of person who is ever more wrongfully voted out of Survivor than the strong player, like the big muscular person, because that person never wins. Colby didn't win, but everybody's scared that somebody's going to want a Colby run, but Colby didn't win. Terry Dietz didn't win. Tom Westman's the only one who actually pulled it off. But if you look at Tom Westman,
Holloway.
No, but if you look at those guys, you're not looking at them the way that you look at Aaron or Joe Anglim or Tommy. Like these are real muscle. I mean, Mike Holloway wore his shirt all the time, so he was hiding something there.
Yeah. I see.
So what I'm saying here is, like, when I look at this, I like that Tommy and Aaron are trying to work together because there really never is a reason for them to go home as early as they do because they're not as threatening as people think they are. So did they win an immunity challenge or 2? It doesn't matter. Normally that person does not win. I like that they're looking out for each other. I think Aaron and Missy are going to side with that group of 4 if the time comes and vote out either Elaine or Elizabeth, probably Elizabeth. But I just don't see this tribe losing. So this is something that we probably won't have to worry about.
I don't know. From that preview, it looked like people were willing to go to Rocks. It's kind of I feel like people always are like, we're going to go to Rocks, and then they don't. So,
Yeah, I mean, somebody always flips. I would never go to Rocks. That's the only time I would go to Rocks.
You wouldn't go to Rocks. I would go to Rocks.
I mean, it depends on the situation. If you're in like a Tyson-like situation and you know that this is literally the last time you could possibly lose the game and it's $1 million move, you make the $1 million move. You take the 1 in 6 shot. You just hope you win the $1 million. But, in this situation, this early in the game, no way. I'm not going to Rocks at final 15. Are you kidding? There's no reason
final 15,
to.
Like, who cares? Yeah.
Just vote somebody out. If it's not me, fine. Go. Vote them out. Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I would flip so fast. I don't care. So I think that's what's going to end up happening here. But I don't think they're going to lose. I do think, though, we did start to see a lot of the dynamics for what's going to happen throughout the season. Just a lot of relationships being formed on that tribe. Aaron and Missy still looking like a power couple, despite the fact that they could be on the wrong side of the numbers. And they definitely.
I really liked the section about Aaron and his child on his socks. That was so touching.
Yeah,
like imagine being on someone's socks on Survivor. I would love that.
Yeah. If you ever get on, Intern, I want to be on your socks.
And same to you. We have a blood pact now.
That's a blood pact. Don't tell Alexa, okay? Because she already told me she needed to be on my socks. She's out. Not happening.
You can have like mismatching socks,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'll have 1 Intern and one Alexa.
There you go.
You got it. And on the bottom of the foot, I'll have Will because I don't want anybody to see him, but I want to feel like I'm walking
and you
all
can
over.
Step on him every day. Yeah.
Every day. No, and I think that's the type of emotional content that we get from people who go on to win the game. And I'm not necessarily saying that Aaron's going to win, but that's a big, heartfelt him bonding with Tommy moment.
But I also feel like we've gotten a lot of emotional content, like interspersed with a bunch of different people. Like we had the thing with Jamal getting his idol. We had Elaine super early on. We had Missy also in episode 1. Like it's not like one person that we're getting a lot from. It's just like all spread out, and it makes me think like I still don't know who's going to win, which is good because it's episode 5. But
there's nice. A lot of great characters on this season, and we've lost 5 really great characters, but there's still 15 really great characters left. There's still a lot to pull from here. Dean was the invisible edit, and how great has Dean been the last couple weeks, especially tonight? Dean was fantastic. Detective Dean. I want a spinoff series. Detective Dean. Give it to me. Detective Dean.
Oh, yeah, and that moment in Tribal where like what was it? Where Karishma said something, and then Karishma was like, "Oh yeah, these people have like." Or what was it? And then Dean said something about Karishma like having a lot of loyal allies on the other side, and then Rob and Sandra were like, "Ooh, he's good."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like, that was a good moment.
After Rob said Dean is gone, and I just wanted to be like, Rob is wrong, which not the first time Boston Rob's been wrong in Survivor history. If anybody was wondering, he's lost 3 times. I love saying that. It just makes me feel better. Maybe 4 times. We don't know. We might have lost.
I think you could argue a win in All Stars because getting married to the person who wins, like,
nah, it's not a win. You don't get the title. You don't get the title. Doesn't count. He lost. He got Amber, but he didn't
get the title. You get the title of husband.
Wow, that's tough to get. That's like a once in a lifetime thing. You can only get going on Survivor.
Once
much like
in a
eating
lifetime.
Applebee's. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, what, marriage rates declining or something?
Well, yeah,
getting harder.
Because of your generation, intern. Because of your generation, not because of mine.
Are you married yet?
What's up?
You married yet?
I'm getting there.
Looks like it's both of our problems.
I know. Well, hey, man, I asked Alexa. She didn't say yes. That's not my problem. That's hers. That's yours. You were there. It didn't work.
Yeah.
I liked when we got the wrestling match here, and my favorite line of this was just like last time, because that implies that this has happened multiple times.
They're just like, all right, I'm waking up. It's time to go wrestling. It's like, what? Like, you do this multiple times just for fun.
And we don't normally see things like this on Survivor anymore. And I like this content of
it was so fun.
Missy and Elaine tackling each other to the ground. And when Missy slapped Elaine's hat off, Elaine's face was fantastic. The way she just like froze. It's so good. I'm a big fan of that. I like it. I like that we're getting that type of content, which is stuff that we haven't really seen recently. And who would have thought that people are wrestling? I was waiting for Elaine. I like that they put this in like their new previously on intro thing, where they have her on the ground on top of Missy and then like somebody reacting so crazily. And it's like, oh, here comes this crazy fight, which was all
no one's ever fought. No one's ever gone on a fight in Survivor.
Could you imagine if Elaine was the first one? Elaine literally beats the crap out of Missy and they just pull her out of the game. That'd be crazy.
Oh my God. That'd be so funny.
Yeah.
Just like, and then the way they edit it too, where like they love, everyone loves Elaine in episode 1. And then like 4 episodes later, she beats someone up and gets pulled from the game.
That'd be great.
So funny.
That would be great. They couldn't pull her out fast enough. You know, what was it? Lindsay Ogle. She actually pulled herself out fast enough, but here it didn't happen. Didn't happen. She ended up beating up Missy, and Missy goes on to win the game. Now, I thought that was really funny. Okay, so we've talked a lot about this tribe breakdown and all of that fun stuff. What are you kind of seeing here as these long-term alliances? Because we've kind of talked about Aaron and Missy, Aaron and Tommy. I gave my excuses for why the new Lyro tribe voted out who they did. But what are you kind of viewing as what we're supposed to be looking for moving forward here?
I don't know. I think it's hard. Personally, I don't really think about the long-term alliances until you're so far away. Until it was weird. I don't think about long-term alliances until we hit the merge, because I feel like a lot of the tribal stuff is very circumstantial. I do think like we've shown Jamal and Jack are close. We've been shown today that Aaron and Tommy are close. And like, you know, if those are the ones that that the editors think are important to us, like, you know, I guess those are the ones we need to watch. I mean, I guess if Dean and Karishma make it through this, they might, you know, through that whole losing thing, they'll be close.
Mm-hmm.
But if
I don't think Karishma and Dean will ever be close, to be honest. I think Karishma just threw him and Tom so far under the bus. I don't think she cares.
But also, if you're that vengeful on Survivor, and like maybe Bokai backstabs you, it's like, who do you go to then? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think is going to happen to Karishma? That's a great thing to ask. What do you think is going to happen with her?
There's the whole Jamal thing of like, you know, forgive but don't forget. And if, you know, Karishma shows herself that way, like, you know, later into the game and into the merge, like, you know, that'll be really useful. But you know, you can't like keep grudges, because that's how you know, lose connections and lose relationships. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like oh God, there was someone, I forget who it was. It'll come to me later, but like, I still think she's on the decline. I don't think she's hit like the so big of a target we can take her out whenever. It's, you know, at some point they're going to be like, well, we don't want to vote out one of our own, and they'll get rid of her.
Well, and the way that this is playing out right now is you have Nora and Karishma still in the game. I don't think that Karishma is an all-around goat. I just think she's bad at challenges, which is why there's always been a target on her back. Right. I don't think that she's necessarily like socially weak or anything like that. I think it's just all physical. But you have Nora and Karishma. And if everybody's already trying to keep both of those people around until the very end, we're literally playing for one spot at the final three. That's never going to last. That doesn't last on Survivor. We saw this with Natalie Cole. She got a really big over the top edit. It was like, oh my God, she's going to go to the final three. And then she ends up getting voted out just because there's nobody else left. I think that's what's going to end up happening to either Karishma or Nora on this tribe. Because I would say Dean probably goes next. And then whoever's going after that is either Karishma or Nora. And it's just going to matter if they actually trust Nora and think that they can work with her. Or if they want to get rid of Karishma and assume there's nothing there.
I think Nora's a way better ally to like bring to the end than Karishma is. Because Karishma, she like she isn't good at challenges. She's not going to win anything, but she's smart. And she's kind of, she can get angry at you if you do something to like pull the wool over her eyes. But like Nora, like she'll just like do that like weird, crazy laugh that she has. And then like,
that was terrifying tonight.
It was so funny. So funny. I can't believe I put her as my winner pick. That was
I forgot you did that
in the bootless game. Yeah, big mistake. But now
you might only get 1 or 2 points for it.
Yeah, I think about it. Might have been a good choice. Thanks to Robert from a month ago.
Robert from a month ago is crazy,
insane, crazy as Nora is. But going back to the point, Nora, she'll blindly follow you. She seems like she's pretty loyal. I don't know if she would flip. But yeah, like Nora's an easy person to drag. She's funny, at least to laugh with or at. I mean, that's if you're gonna
just both... not when she laughs. I don't want to be anywhere near Nora when she laughs.
Yeah. I feel like I'm getting cursed by a demon or something.
Especially tonight, Jeff didn't even say anything funny, and she just started laughing. And then her whole reasoning. One thing I need to point out in the edit here, and I don't know if you noticed this. My favorite part of this entire edit tonight was we are hearing, is it going to be Tom? Is it going to be Dean? Is it going to be Karishma? Who's going to go home? What's going to happen? Which of the three? And then it all goes into the hands. We get the last confession we get before going to tribal is Nora. And Nora is sitting there and she's saying, I need to decide. I don't have my vote tonight, but I need to decide who the right person to vote out of the game is tonight.
Yeah, because she didn't ever vote and she still is like, it's all down to me. Like, I got to do this. Like,
I thought it was fantastic because it's just
doesn't matter.
BS. Like, but I think that the editors are having fun with us by doing that and kind of having fun with the character that is Nora, because Noras don't come around all the time, and everybody loves Nora. I mean, Nora is super entertaining. She had that great moment on the beach tonight, which I won't talk about, but when Alexa comes back, I'll let her talk about it, where she was walking down the beach with Janet, and I think it was Kelly, and Alexa, I just like immediately was like, oh, look at Nora go. So there's that great moment. And I'm pretty sure it's already been gift, but yeah, somewhere. But everybody likes Nora. Nora is over the top. Nora's never going to win Survivor, but Nora is fun. And she's the only person on this season who plays every single season and never wins Survivor, but that's okay. You can have one of those people. And I like that it's only one of those people. I just love that they edited her as if she still thought she was this like strategic queen, and it was all coming down to her. Who do I want to vote out tonight? Because I don't have my vote, but I'm going to make this happen. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh my God, such a great character. I love Nora so much, and it is so helping the season out so much with just all this good content.
Yeah, and thank you to Geneva Ford here. Nora laughing, holding Julie's wood dolls is Phil's nightmare. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween is not right. Happy Halloween to everybody, Halloween. But if that's the case, get out of here. Ugh, I don't need that in my life. I don't need that.
That's gonna be my Halloween costume.
You're gonna be Nora laughing?
Yeah, holding one of Julie's wooden dolls.
Yeah, Julie wants to give me nightmares. If one of those wooden dolls shows up at my doorstep pretty soon, I'll be terrified. So that could happen. What about like some of these other characters? Let's kind of go around the horn and just talk about how we think they're going to fit in where they are. Because I mean, we got 2 challenges tonight. I always feel like challenges. How much do you really need to talk about? Karishma was dragged. In the first one, they had to use her help. In the second one, we already talked about Tommy being way better than Dean.
Speaking of Karishma being dragged in the first one, it was funny seeing Karishma being dragged and Nora just like going at it. Like she's so focused. And even after like she touches her head to the mat, she's like, I gotta help Karishma. And she like keeps going a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my God, Nora, like, why are you doing this? This is so fun.
She was just going all in on that. She's just going all in.
Oh my God, it was so good.
It was great. And I loved how easily the other people were able to win that challenge as they're just doing the puzzle. And what did Jason said something, and I forgot what it was. I wanted to write it down. Jason said something absolutely hilarious when he was about to win the challenge, and I forget exactly what it was, but somebody tell me what it was. Somebody in the chat help me out. There was something great that was said right before they won the challenge, and it was such like a shot. But I just wanted to say, so like, let's go around the horn here. Dan, better off or worse off? Like, what are you thinking here? What are you feeling for Dan?
What do you mean by better off or worse off?
With these new tribes, like, do you think this helped Dan or hurt Dan?
Yeah, this will help Dan. It'll help him get to the merge.
Yeah.
I just think everyone on Bokai is like they've been helped out.
All right, then I'll look over at Lyro. Jamal, does this help him or hurt him?
Helps him. There are targets to vote out before him.
I agree with that. And he has an idol. And what's crazy is tonight there was a swap and no idol was ever brought up, probably because Tom Laidlaw goes home and he's not somebody who's going to be going around looking for idols. But I thought it was interesting that normally in these swap episodes, everybody's like, I got to find an idol. There was no idol talk.
Who was an idol? Right.
No idol talk at all.
It was good.
Nora, do you think this helped her or hurt her?
That doesn't matter. She's making final 3.
You really think she's going to make the final 3?
I out of anyone so far, I think she's like the highest lock to go far.
Okay, I disagree.
I don't think she gets lower than 7th place.
See, I think that because of the way the tribe shook out, and because her tribe is going to keep losing, she is always going to be in trouble because she is expendable to the vote guys. She's expendable. They could replace Nora with Karishma, no problem. And then Karishma goes home. Kelly could decide, I want to keep Dean around, and Nora goes home.
Yeah. If Nora makes it to the merge, okay, I guess Nora is hurt by this.
She's hurt by this. I think that if she makes it to the merge, she's fine, but she's got to get to the merge.
But if she makes the merge, she's going. She's
probably going to go to the final.
Pick it to the finale. Yeah,
I agree that. Kelly,
probably I think she's still safe, but hurt.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I think this one hurt her. Jack, I think it helped.
Yeah, because Jack he's a challenge asset, but also in the majority.
Exactly, and I think on the original Vokai, he wasn't in the majority, and despite the fact that he had been receptive to being, I was on the wrong side of the vote and everything like that, I think Jack did a good job. This really helps him because now he's in the majority. He's not Nora. There's Karishma, Dean, and Nora who are all willing to get voted out before him. And I actually thought Jack and Janet were shown very positively tonight with their talking to Karishma. And since Karishma is somebody that the audience is being told to root for, or is being told like she's getting the underdog at it, maybe not necessarily root for her, but there's an underdog there. She's got to overcome so much to get there. And Janet and Jack were shown very positively interacting with her. And I think that's very telling of how Jack.
Very good. Very good.
Does this help or hurt Janet?
It hurt slightly because I feel like she was in good in the last tribe, and maybe I don't know. I don't feel like we've gotten enough of strategic content from Janet, of people's opinions about her. We've gotten her opinions about things, right? So
yeah, and what was interesting about tonight is it was kind of Janet was the only one who brought Tom's name up and said, we got to get rid of Tom at some point.
Yeah, that's
her
true.
Confessional. Nobody else got that.
It was. We did see that it was her idea, or maybe not her original idea, but
it was something that she wanted to. When she wanted to. Michael here with this. Janet is only shown when she needs to be. I actually think I don't think that's a negative. I think that's a positive. I think she's getting Janet's doing things to make stuff happen. Normally when a swap happens, we just saw the oldest person in the game get voted out, not because of age, but more because of just how they play the game. But when a swap happens, if you're the older woman, you're like, crap, what am I going to do? I'm not worried about Janet at all. I don't know how Janet would go home.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, she just seems. I don't have any more points, but I agree. Janet's fine.
I don't think that anything happened. We already talked about Dean and Karishma. I think Dean was screwed either way, and I think Karishma. This probably helped Karishma a little bit more than it hurt her because I do think her time was about to be up. Had she stayed on that tribe. I think that they were getting ready to get rid of her. I still can't believe they decided to get rid of Chelsea before Karishma. It's so crazy. I can't believe Chelsea's not there.
No one can believe it.
It's so crazy. I don't think that this really had an effect on Tommy, Jason, or Lauren. I think that they were all in good spots anyway. I think that the only person that it might have hurt is somebody like Elizabeth, because if Aaron and Missy decide, sure, we will join up with Dan, Tommy, Jason, and Lauren, then maybe it hurts Elizabeth. It could also have hurt Elaine, because for as much as we like Elaine, Elaine could still be somebody who goes on pre-merge. We heard her name coming up in episode 1 as somebody who was, seen as sort of as a threat because she's so likable. And maybe that's how Tommy, Jason, Lauren, and Dan view her. It's, hey, Aaron and Missy are willing to work with us. Elizabeth, we're not too worried about. Let's get rid of Elaine.
I mean, it's Upside Down Survivor, so who knows? I mean, and Elaine also seems like, I don't know. She doesn't seem like a super schemy type.
Mm-hmm.
She's not someone who'd like plot and be like, oh, I'm going to go with the other tribe or the other, the other side and like try to get them to work with me. Like if someone approaches her about something that she likes, then she'll go with it. But if not, then, that could come back to bite her when it's like 4-4.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially like Lane's been shown as so wishy-washy. I mean, she was shown the entire time on her original tribe. I don't know. I'm just here. I don't know. You got to know once you start actually getting down to it now, which is crazy that we're saying at Final 16, we're getting down to it when that's how Survivor used to start, was at 16 people. So I think that's funny.
Yeah.
Who's your MVP of the episode? I lost my first person with MVP. Tom. I also had Tom as my eliminator pick, so I'm out of the eliminator game.
Oh, you're out of the eliminator game?
Yeah, I had Tom.
Oh, that's true. R.I.P. Guess that means I'm better than eliminator than you.
Well, you didn't pick this week.
Well, okay. Alexa and I combined. Who did Alexa pick? I don't even know.
She picked Karishma.
She picked Karishma? Oh.
Damn.
Yeah, that was smart.
Yeah, that was getting down to it.
Man, you suck.
Oh, and Johnny Fairplay also picked Tom, so Team Survivor's out. So I don't have to explain this to any more Survivors.
Team Survivor's out?
Yeah.
Is it just Alexa versus Vaughn now?
Alexa versus Vaughn. Two people who don't show up on this podcast ever. They've been on the same amount of episodes this season.
That's funny. All right. I think I could argue Janet for MVP for being the person to vocalize getting Tom out.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I don't think anybody's going to go for that because you're going to be like, oh, well, other people did so much more. Karishma's probably going to get MVP votes. Tommy should get MVP votes for that 6 sunburn he had. I mean, I don't know if anybody, I feel like I can call him out for that because I too get brutal sunburns, but he had such a bad sunburn. Damn.
Did you put on sunscreen for this podcast?
I did. Well, yeah, I got this light right here next to me and it's shining very brightly on me.
Yeah, you're getting a little red.
Too long, it's really bad. I have a friend who drove for, I think, 3 or 4 hours the other day and got sunburn on her arm just driving.
Actually,
like, my God. And it was like really bad, like bad enough that it was noticeable. So that's the life though of somebody with fair skin and red hair. And Tommy out there in that Fiji sun just smashing his face into the sand. He was burnt. Got to get him some sunscreen. But I do think I think Aaron had a great episode, even though he doesn't go to tribal. I think Tommy had a great episode despite not going to tribal. I guess you could say Janet's MVP, and I'm okay with that. She's on my team, but I don't really see anybody else who deserves the MVP title. I actually think that somebody from the other tribe kind of deserves it.
I don't know who would get it. There's not really like any one stand-up person.
Yeah, everybody vote down there in the
we should have the MVP be Applebee's.
Honestly, tell me that you weren't sitting there watching that saying, I'm going to Applebee's tonight. Like if there was an Applebee's close to where I lived, I'd be going.
I honestly have never wanted to go to Applebee's in the past 6 years. And I wanted to 5% go to Applebee's.
No, they put something in their food that keeps you coming back. There's something in there. There's a little something special that just keeps you coming back. And I'll tell you, I mean, it's down by my campus, but I don't live that close to my campus. And I go down there twice a week. But I'll tell you, if this was a school night, if I was down at school, to watch Survivor, I'd have podcasted with Intern, and I'd be heading right to Applebee's afterwards, probably alone, probably to drink water or Coke at the bar and eat some of their boneless buffalo wings. That I'm telling you, you literally they smell on you for a solid 3 days after, and people won't talk to you.
Applebee's to me. I'm gonna find this out right.
This is where we've gotten to now. But I do honestly too. Tommy probably deserves MVP for how much he talked up Applebee's this entire time. He did the cheers like he was at the Last Supper. He was Jesus putting up the glass to Applebee's for doing this for us. To
Applebee's. Oh, it's only 4 miles away.
What do you mean it's only 4 miles away? And you don't know that already off the top of your head?
No, I just moved. I haven't had the opportunity to experience Applebee's.
You got to look up what's near you. Fridays, Applebee's, or Chili's, and you go there the first night you're in a new place. That's a fact. That's what people do.
That is true. Yeah, I guess I'm inexperienced. luckily Applebee's showed me the light tonight.
Yeah. And I will say, for anybody who was worried after listening to our Bradley podcast, where he was saying that, we were getting beat out by the Masked Singer, getting a sponsor like Applebee's, as much as we're heckling it right now, it's a huge deal for Survivor in its 39th season. Applebee's is no joke. Applebee's is something that, you get ads for that during, NFL football games, big things like that. To have them want to sponsor Survivor and have that be such a big part of the episode, I will take that corniness over and over and over again, as long as it means that Survivor is going to keep being on the air. Getting a sponsor like that is a big deal, because you got to remember, back in the day, we had car sponsors and Sprint and Charmin was a sponsor. I mean, all this great stuff. It's a big deal that we have.
I mean, yeah, it used to be Sprint Player of the Season, right?
And Player of the Week. They used to do every week.
They used to do a Player of the Week? Oh, wow.
Every week. Yeah, I know. They don't do that anymore. Instead, we do it, and now we call it, this. But yeah, there was an Outback one, too. That's
Bloomin'
right.
Onion.
Right. Yeah, the Bloomin' Onion one. That's all. That was on there. So getting these restaurants is a big deal, though. This is a really good thing, because that means Survivor is doing well enough that it's still in the obviously it's in the national spotlight, but to get these chains that want to give their food to these people. And I don't know about everybody else, but when I eat at Applebee's, and maybe this is TMI, but when I eat at Applebee's, my stomach hurts pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. So I don't know if Applebee's is really the food that I would want to be eating if I'm out on an island and you got leaves and you got
if your stomach's going to hurt anyways from either eating or not eating, you might as well eat, right?
Yeah, but it's hurting. It's hurting in a different way. When you're not eating, you can just kind of lay in the shelter. When you eat Applebee's, I mean, that could change your day. That could really change your day. So I don't know if that's something that I want to be eating. And then on top of that, drinking the Shark Bowl. I feel for who, everybody's stomach. And Charmin should have been the next reward, because they're all going to be it.
Yeah.
Anyway, intern, what else we got? We good? What else we got? Did we miss
what
anything?
Else do we have? Nothing else from the episode stood out. Nothing I can remember.
Okay. That's good, dude. That's good.
You got anything?
I really don't. I think we covered a lot. I really wish I could remember what Jason said when they were about to win the reward. There was something that was, when they were about to win it was the reward. There was something that was said that was just so great, and I really wish I could remember what it was. Alas, I cannot, and therefore, I think we might be done. How did we feel? Last thing, how do we feel that Rob and Sandra were barely in this episode? Be honest.
I liked it.
Me too. Felt regular. It felt normal. It felt good.
It did. It's good to take off the gas a little bit with this whole I know the idols thing.
Mm-hmm.
Better than Ghost Island every week,
I agree. All right. Well, intern, this might be your last recap ever. We'll be back on Sunday.
Ever.
Unless if the Nationals somehow sweep the Astros, which right now they're up 2-0 and both games they won were in Houston. If they somehow manage to sweep the Astros, I think Alexa will be back on Sunday, because she will be done with her duties. And we might be able to work that out. Otherwise, it'll be intern and I with Brendan Shapiro. And
let's go, Brendan.
Yeah, it's always great. Brendan's always a great time. Last time his son made an appearance on the podcast too, gave his hot takes, which were hotter than any of Alexa's takes. Oh, shots fired.
That's the low bar.
Wow, shots fired by intern too. God, she's the one who stands up for you. You just hurt yourself.
That's okay. She can take it.
Yeah, sort of. Between now and Sunday, please go out and eat Applebee's. If you're going to any Halloween parties this weekend, make sure that you can convince all of your friends to go to Applebee's afterwards. That's a great place to just stuff your face after a good night of drinking. I will say that.
Applebee's sponsor us. We'll plug you any day.
Yeah, I mean this
Not
was
that any Applebee's reps are listening to us, but
they might be. You never know, man. You never know.
You are. You know who to talk to.
All I can think is in Talladega Nights when they all go to Applebee's after the race. It's so amazing.
I love that movie.
It's a fantastic movie. Kyle Stelter says free intern, and Gamer Guy says free intern. It's save intern. It's save intern.
Yeah, I thought it was save intern.
That's okay. Free intern too. He's never going to be free, but he might be saved. Other than that, we will be back on Sunday, as I said, with Brendan Shapiro. Until then, go over to patreon.com/survivor specialist. Somebody had asked, if you become a $5, $10, $20 patron, do you get access to all of the previous content? I believe you do. You get access to everything. So you would be able to see all of our previous $5, $10, $20 podcast, which is great. There's a lot of content on there right now. We have a lot of stuff for the $20 because Alexa and I were doing a lot of season 40 stuff during this off season. So if you want to become a $5, $10, $20 patron, go ahead and do that. I'll be up sometime with the Will Goal Room. Will just went back to New York, so we'll have to figure out a time that we can do that. Probably sometime this weekend, probably on Sunday is what I'm thinking, because Friday and Saturday just aren't good. So if you've $5, $10, $20 patrons, you get that. We just did our Q&A. We're going to be doing a retrospective this weekend. Alexa and I need to find the time in between her crazy, insane schedule. Please go Nationals. Please Nationals sweep. I can't do this with Intern anymore. I need Alexa back. Sorry, I'm going to have a mental breakdown on this podcast. Okay. I don't want to end that way. I don't want to end that way. Talk me up.
Have some Applebee's. It'll calm you down.
Applebee's. All right. That's all I needed. All right. So also go subscribe to us on YouTube. We are over 6,000. Go follow us on Twitter. I'm at 399 Twitter followers, so I will shamelessly say at Phil_Wood_Jr. Please go follow me. I've been doing a lot of sports betting tweets, but I swear there's some good Survivor content in there too. You can get nice, well-rounded Phil, but I want my 400th subscriber. I'm trying to chase down Alexa, who has 616, so I need to get up there. Intern, what are you at? Like a 64?
I think I'm at like 140-ish. If you want to see all the stuff that I retweet that I think is funny, yeah, follow me. I'm actually at 139 right now. So if you want to be number 140, hit me up.
Not as big of a deal as 400, but other than that, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all at Survivor Specialist. And
rate us on your podcast app of choice.
Yes, on Spotify or iTunes. Thank you, Intern, for coming in clutch there.
Of course.
And we will be back on Sunday with Brennan Shapiro, possibly Alexa and I, most likely Intern and I, because let's be honest, the Astros are going to win at least one game, because otherwise Carl's going to be sad, and nobody wants Carl to be sad. So until then, bye.
Bye.